Hello guys, and welcome back to another Tweakerman video. I've been rooting around in the loft and I brought out a project that I'd started quite a few years ago, and I'm going to carry on with it a bit just as a second deck, or really a display item that I'm going to leave in the AV room on top of my my Kallax units, really. But it's this. So this is the NAD 5120. Now, I got given this by a customer in about 1995, and I used it at first. I think it's a very good sounding deck. It's cheap as chips. I mean, I think originally back in the 80s. I mean, this is an 80s deck. The original NAD 5120 had a straight arm on it. It was a straight piece of metal that came over, and then, if I'm not mistaken, Bang & Olufsen designed this arm for NAD. So the arm comes off, and it's got a couple of pins, 4 pins there. And if you can look through there, I don't know if you can hone in on there very easy. This is where the tone arm wires are, and they're soldered in. So what we're going to be doing is we're actually going to be redoing this deck. But if you look at this deck, it doesn't say NAD on it at all, because I stripped it and I sanded it all up and I sprayed it in this grey colour. And when I was spraying it in this grey colour, I kept on thinking I should do it something wild, some wild colour. So I may do it in a metallic red or something else. I'm going to strip it back down again. And we're going to be replacing all the wires in here with some pure silver, silk covered pure silver. And so that's the arm. So the arm comes out. There was a screw in here, and it's basically it wore out. So I put that screw in there, but I'm going to see if I can get the correct screw for it somehow. And if you look at the back there in the arm, it's got a dampening chamber which has a silicone gel in it, which I purchased. The gel actually comes from an SME tone arm. But they actually use it in this arm as well. I mean, primarily this arm is very cheap. It's made of a metal arm tube there, and I think this is plastic. I could be wrong. It may be carbon fibre. In fact, it may be, but it's quite strong. It doesn't feel like plastic. It feels stronger. A lot of the duals used carbon fibre head shells, and it could be carbon fibre, but I mean, some of you may correct me on that. I don't know. Anyway, so I've had this, as I said, I've had this since '95. So and then this is the mat. It uses a thick rubber mat. It's got a few marks. It's been in the loft in a box, and I've moved several times and that. So and it has this centerpiece in there that lifts out, and then it has this pressed steel platter. So and then if you look underneath here, you've got the sub platter, which is just made of plastic again. I mean, remember, this is a very cheap deck. So and this is obviously the belt, and that's the pulley there. That comes off because I'd stripped it down and that as well. You can see there's no screws in here because this is where I'd taken them all out before. So if you look down here, you can see this really thick wire that I used. So I rewired the motor. Now I'm going to strip all that out again, and we're going to use silver, probably pure silver in this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try to push this deck to the highest specs I can get it as a very cheap plastic deck. I'm going to try to improve the sound quality as far as I possibly can. Now we'll move to the back of the deck there. Oh, also this is the arm lift here. So you've got like a little twist. I mean, a lot of you are probably very familiar with this deck and that. And the anti-skating is on there. Bias setting, anti-skating, whatever you want to call it. Oh no, this is not. That's not the anti-skating. This is the weight. Sorry, this is the weight. No, it's not. This is the anti-skating. Sorry, that's the anti-skating. Anti-skating, and this is the arm weight at the back there. So if you see, the arm moves up and down, so you can set the correct cartridge weight, cartridge force, cartridge weight. So so at the back here you can see, now I've already started doing quite a bit of work on this quite a few years ago now. Move this over, and if you look at the back there, I've put an IEC plug in the back there. Okay, that's just pushed in, and I put 2 gold RCA plugs, you see there. So what happens is I'm going to rewire. So if we lift this up, we can take off the lid, and the lid's in quite good condition. In fact, I'm going to do another video on showing you how to buff a lid up to get all the scratches out. But for now, this is the where the arm. So if you look there, that's gone wonky. So I need to undo these little screws at the side and set all that up as well. And this is like a suspension. You see, so that's a suspension table, which works quite well. So we'll be rewiring that. So obviously, these pins locate into these little holes there, and then when you strip that down, we're going to be doing pure silver to these RCA plugs as well, and then we'll think about what sort of cartridge to put on it. Obviously, it's not going to be a really expensive cartridge because this isn't an expensive deck, so I don't want to go too mad because it's. But what I've got, I've got some ideas in mind for it. So that's that. Yes. So we're going to redoing these. This will all be taken off. Now I'm going to do a whole video on this and show you how to do it. I'm going to do a step-by-step video on how to rewire the motor, rewire the tone arm, which a lot of you keep on saying to me about rewiring the tone arm. So that's what I'll do. But this tone arm is slightly different to your average tone arm. This is a complete metal housing there. So back in the day, in the 80s, this was actually classed as a very good budget deck. It always had a very good reviews from What Hi-Fi magazine, and known now as What Hi-Fi Sound and Vision magazine, which I had quite a few reviews on my audio stuff in when I ran my audio business, my cables. This is the changer there from 45 to 33. And then what we'll do when we strip the arm down, we're gonna take the arm totally apart, and we're gonna respray all this as well, the same colour as the body of the deck. For some reason, I must have been in a very miserable mood when I sprayed this grey. But I want to do something a little bit different this time, and I'm not sure what to do yet. But I'll have a think about it. But it's been in the loft, and some of this silicone gel from the chamber there has leaked all over the deck a bit, so I cleaned it up again. So I thought I'd just let you know. I just thought I'd do a quick video on it, on what it's like and that, and how we're going to improve it. We can't really do a lot to the platter because this is the way it's designed, and it's not like a conventional deck. It's very much like a lot of cheap Japanese decks, although NAD's not Japanese, but I wouldn't be surprised when most of this is made there. So we can't sort of put a new mat on it because we don't want to mess around with a VTA, because you can't really hire up the virtual tracking angle on this really, so we don't want to do that. Not that I'm aware of. I could be wrong, but not that I'm aware of. So so that's interesting there. So I think that's it for this video. We'll put that back. We're going to get this going. So we'll probably do this in a few videos time. I've got a few cables I want to do for you all first. So all I'm going to say is I've got my beer, just the one, Mrs. Wembley. I'm going to watch a nice film tonight. I'm into World War II films, which is a bit sad, but I like them anyway. So cheers. Thanks for watching another Tweakerman video. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Thank you very much.